All right. Well, listen, I had to go pop over to where I'm recording. I never hit the live stream there. So now I'm recording on both sides. TikTok, you had the first 15 minutes, and now my recording is going to go into full effect. All right. So back to Juan Soto. Now, Juan Soto's 26 years old. He batted 288 this year, had 41 home runs, 109 RBIs, and he had 166 hits. Played up mediocre at best right field for the New York Yankees. Now, $600 million for the Yankees, it's a lot of money. $600 million for any team in the major leagues is a lot of money. Very few teams that could spend that kind of money. And you're looking at teams like the Yankees, the Mets, the Red Sox met with them already. I can't see the Red Sox blowing them away. Maybe the lore of the stadium and what they're going to do, and the fact that they have $71 million coming off their cap this year. I don't know. But I don't think Red Sox really have a shot in this sweepstakes when it comes to Juan Soto. Then you got the Blue Jays and the Dodgers and the sneaky team out there. And I really hope that he signs somewhere before this team even gets a shot to talk to him. And it's the Philadelphia Phillies, my new hated rivals as a New York Mets fan. Now, what's going to happen with Juan Soto is Juan Soto is going to have these meetings, okay? And I think Juan Soto is going to get a lot of money, obviously. From what I understand, Steve Cohen the other day said that he was going to offer $50 million more than any other team that brings a contract to Juan Soto. Now, at 26 years old, I have to think that Juan Soto, as everybody says, 27, 26 is that's your prime years, right? So I have to think that Juan Soto at 26 years old is going to get a long contract. Listen, they got to put an end to these big long contracts, but it's not going to happen this year because somebody's going to offer him the moon, and it's probably going to be my Mets, and we'll just see if he takes the offer. But apparently the Yankees met with him already. The Mets met with him already. The Red Sox met with him already, and so did the Blue Jays. Dodgers and Phillies are next. So everybody out there says $600 million is a lot of money. $700 million is a lot of money. I always say, listen, it's not my money. But when I say it's not my money, I really mean that, guys, because you got people out there saying, I'm not giving this guy a certain amount of money to play baseball. What do you guys think? It's like, you know what? The way I look at it, guys, the way I look at it is it's not your money. The money's there. People are going to the games. People are buying the shirts. People are buying the hats. People are buying the merchandise. They are going to be able to pay these contracts. And it's just a fact that the contracts just keep getting higher and higher and higher and higher. So when these contracts getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, somebody that signed a contract a couple of years ago, maybe they seem like they were slighted a little bit. Can't think of it like that. Shohei Ohtani is going to get $700 million in about 20 years. It's probably going to be worth more when he gets it. But the fact of the matter is he is going to make a ton of money. And wait till he comes back next year, guys, and he starts pitching. So then he's going to really see his true value. But Juan Soto this year is going to get upwards of $700 million. Now, he's looking to sign a $13 to $15 million contract with one of these prospective teams. Now, the Mets can give him the money. The Yankees can give him the money. And I'm sure that one of those two teams is going to come out with it. But his fielding abilities are, like I said, lackluster. So what's really going to happen to him, I think, is he's going to become a career DH, I guess you would say, and would fit in perfect with one of these teams. Now, in order for this to work for the Yankees, you're going to have to let some money loose with, say, Stanton or somebody else, because you're going to look at a guy like Juan Soto. If healthy, he's going to want to be the DH every single day. And then you got other guys out there that are going to want to play. Judge is going to need a break. You also need pitching. So the Yankees to put all their eggs in that one basket, I don't know if that's going to be the right move for them, because the Yankees could go so many other directions with just putting all their eggs in the Soto basket that I think that they can get probably three or more players that could probably help them right now at this moment, as opposed to one Juan Soto, and pretty much have this team stay the same. Now, you got teams out there right now, and there's a lot of money coming off their record right now, their boards. So, got the Tigers at $41 million. Tigers had a good season. They almost made the World Series. They're a couple of players away from maybe going back to the World Series. And you got the Dodgers, $41 million. T. Hernandez is going. Teoscar Hernandez is going out. Flaherty's going off. They got $41 million coming off there. But for them to make a run at Juan Soto, I just don't see it, guys. I really don't. I don't think Juan Soto is – I don't think he wants to go out to L.A. and be outshined by, Shohei Ohtani out there. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And I really don't think that Soto wants to disappear into obscurity. So New York is the right place for him. The Miami Marlins, no shot at getting Juan Soto. He is not starting over, although they have $46 million to spend. They're not getting him either. The A's, no one's going to want to go there unless when they get to Sacramento or Vegas, wherever that historical franchise the Oakland A's did to their fans, their people. That franchise has been there for a long time, and they pretty much just up and left. So the Oakland A's, you got no shot at getting Juan Soto, and pretty much you got no shot at getting any other of these free agents either, because no one knows where you guys are going. This next team right here is the only team that actually scares me because it's the Washington Nationals. The Washington Nationals have $50 million coming off. That's right, $50 million. Okay. They let Juan Soto go. Juan Soto had a cup of coffee over there in San Diego. You know, he had a bacon, egg, and cheese over here with the New York Yankees, and we'll see if he's going to stay. But the Nationals have picked up a lot of young, talented players, young, talented pitchers. Now, with Juan Soto still being a young man, maybe he wants to jump back into the atmosphere of a bunch of young players that are full of piss and vinegar and want to win. So I think the Nationals might be the team that at the end of the day, they might sneak in and give Soto the contract that he wants, give him everything he needs, and make him a lifelong Washington National. The St. Louis Cardinals. Now, St. Louis Cardinals, I don't think they have any interest. They're losing Goldschmidt. They got money coming off, $56 million. I don't think that they're looking to make a big jump into the Juan Soto market. They're just going to be a team that wins with small ball and picking the right pitchers and getting those guys. And when I say small ball, they really don't go with small ball. I mean picking the right guys that can hit. The Arenados, the Goldschmidts, and those guys. And they just have a knack of picking those right players. And St. Louis Cardinals, like the San Francisco Giants, they always seem to be in the hunt. Now, by in the hunt, I mean, you know, every couple of years, you're going to see the Giants make a run. Every couple of years, you're going to see the Cardinals make a run. And they're always there. So the Cardinals, they're going to come back at some point, but I don't think they're going to make a run at Soto. I don't think they're going to want to give the money to them. The Giants. Now, the San Francisco Giants, for some reason, seems to be, you know, a spot where a lot of people end up. Even though San Francisco itself as a city is a shithole, people like to play baseball there because it's got a lot of rich history. It's got a lot of really, really baseball-minded fans. They have a beautiful stadium. They're right there out there on the water. Can they make a run at Soto? Hey, who knows? They were supposedly making a run at Aaron Judge back then, but I think that was just a simple fact that they want to run the price up on him. Now you got the Red Sox, who already met with him. The Red Sox got $71 million coming off the cap this year. Not the cap. There's no cap in baseball. They got $71 million coming back to them. Now, that means they have $71 million extra dollars to spend. They're going to give a lot of it to Juan Soto. I don't think so. I think they're going to try and go somewhere else and they're going to try and completely build. And I don't know what they're going to try and rebuild to. Are they going to go back to being the big home run hitting Boston Red Sox? Are they going to be the small ball Red Sox? They're going to be the pitching Red Sox? I don't know what they're going to do, but they have to go back to something. And I do not think that they have enough money to keep Soto in that organization and rebuild as well. Got the White Sox, $84 million. They're going to have to do something, but who in their right mind right now is going to want to go to the Chicago White Sox? Enough said. The Yankees, $88 million coming off the books this year. $88 million. That's a lot of money coming off the books. You know what? They're number two. I don't know if they're going to spend their money the way this number one team right now. Now, this number one team now has $169 million coming off. That's right. I said $169 million. Whew. That's a lot of money, even for a billionaire, Steve Cohen. I personally think that the Mets right now have become a place for free agents to want to be. Now, not only does Steve Cohen have the money to pay these guys, he absolutely has. He's got a lot of money that I don't think he really cares how much he's going to give these players. He just wants, Queens to have a World Series. He wants Queens to celebrate. He wants the New York Mets to have a World Series trophy for the fans. Now, that to me would be the ultimate. Now, however he decides to do it, whatever he decides to do, I keep saying it's not our money, right? It's not our money, guys. So whatever he decides to do, whatever he decides to give Juan Soto, and they're saying it's 50 million over whatever the highest is, I think it's probably going to be a little bit more than that. Now, I know I'm a Mets fan, and I know I am definitely biased about this, but I got to tell you, I think at the end of the day, Juan Soto is going to be wearing number 22 in right field for the New York Mets. Don't hold us up too long, Juan, because there's a lot of free agents out there, and there's a lot of people that want contracts. I don't think that you're that type of guy. Let's get that deal done quick. Let's get that orange and blue pinstripes on, and let's get this contract signed. Because not only do I think that the Mets are going to sign Juan Soto, I think there's a young man over there in Baltimore that didn't take his qualifying offer as well. And I think if Juan Soto and Corbin Burnes join the New York Mets and Queens, that is a bought and paid for World Series championship. Now, I say that with some swagger, I guess, as a Mets fan, because you know why? Met fans have never, ever in our lives had a chance to have swagger, had a chance to have a billionaire owner that likes to throw his money around. You know what that means? That means throw it around, Uncle Stevie. Whatever you want to do, brother. Give Corbin Burnes the world. Get Juan Soto, give him the world. Francisco Lindor, next year, your year. Notice how I went over the awards. The Golden Gloves were given out as well this year. Golden Gloves a farce. Golden Glove award in Major League Baseball this year was exposed as a farce. By exposed as a farce, I mean that Francisco Lindor wasn't even brought up in contention for the shortstop Gold Glove. Kid from Colorado won it. That, my friend, right there, is how you fix an award. No mention, nothing. So as far as baseball is concerned, guys, a lot of guys out there on the free agent market. My guy Pete's still out there. Pete's 30 years old. Pete's going to be a DH, and Pete's going to play first base. You know what? What a lot of people don't realize about Pete Alonso is this year, Pete Alonso, everybody talking about how Pete Alonso didn't hit his amount of home runs. Sorry, I got to get a drink here. Everybody seems to be talking about how Pete Alonso hasn't got his share of, he wasn't hitting the way he should, or this, that, and the other thing. Listen, Pete Alonso at the bat had a down year. Do you know what Pete Alonso did do this year? He showed a lot of promise at first base and being a very good defensive first baseman, scooping the ball when he needed to, making good plays. So I think from the perspective of somebody picking up Pete Alonso, it's not just going to be a DH. You're going to get a pretty damn good defensive first baseman as well. Now, with the issue, with the way I look at it, the way I look at the New York Mets are going to have Juan Soto and they're going to have Corbin Burnes. And their third guy that is absolutely paramount, they have to offer a contract to, is Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso has to stay a New York Met as well. I don't care what any of these other guys offer him. Pete Alonso, if he goes somewhere else, he is not going to be Big Pete the polar bear. Pete needs to be at Citi Field. Pete needs to just say to Steve Cohen when he goes down there and sits to him and says, listen, Pete, you had some good games this year in the playoffs. You played pretty good at first base. And I know you could hit 50 home runs again. This is the contract you're going to take. And what do you got to say? And all Pete Alonso has to do is say, shake his hand, take the money, and play first base for the New York Mets, because next year, that's when we really make a run for the World Series. We got a solid third baseman now. We got a Gold Glove shortstop. Second base, I don't know. It's going to be a little problem maybe, but we'll see. We'll have to have some holes. We need your first, Pete. Soto in right. We need Soto in right. We need Nimmo in left. Center field. Who's going to step up and play center field for the New York Mets this year? Who is a young man on that roster that they brought into the playoffs to show him what it's like to play on the big stage? Who is a young man that has an older brother in this league that has already won an MVP and already has a World Series trophy? Who is the younger brother that I watched, the two of them playing against each other, pushing each other, trying to be the best they could possibly be. Acuna, you're going to be my center fielder next year. Harrison Bader, gone. Don't want him. He needs a new contract. Go somewhere else. Center field, wide open for you, kid. Let's go. Put the kid in center. Alvarez behind the plate. Let's sign Corbin Burns. Kodai Senga is going to be back 100%. We got Peterson. Manaya, what do you want to do, man? You want to stay? You want to go? You want to be a part of this? Let's see what you got. Next year's Met team is when we take off and we start kicking ass. So, from a perspective of somebody like me that has been waiting since 1986 to see the Mets win a World Series, yeah, I got a little crazy this year. Watched the games, actually thought that they might have won a World Series. Yeah, I really think in my own mind that I do think that if it was the Mets that were playing in the World Series, I don't know. I think the Mets might have won as well. I think the Mets were the second best team that come out of that playoffs. And that's what beat the Yankees. Yankee fans, you know that too. You don't think by any stretch of the imagination that Yankee team was beating my gritty Mets team this year. This wasn't 2000. But we're not going to see that, right? Maybe next year. And you know what? I'm tired of saying maybe next year. I'm tired of saying maybe next year for my Jets as well as my Mets. All right, lots of free agents out there. We could go over that when Edubbs gets back from his from his meeting out there with with Juan Soto's family. A lot of stuff going on in the NFL. Now, I'm trying to keep this short. Like I said, Edubbs is going to be back over the weekend, but Daniel Jones was released by the New York Giants. How do you feel out there, Giant fans? What do you think? I think that was the right decision. I think that Daniel Jones was a product of somebody telling him that he was a really good football player. Somebody saying to him that, look where you were drafted. You were drafted by the New York Giants. New York Giants drafted you. Now, that has to be, for some people, the tip of the iceberg. Look who's playing quarterback for the Giants now. The guy you call Tommy Cutlets. Tommy DeVito is coming in, putting on that Giant uniform, and he's going to lead the New York Giants to victory. If he doesn't lead them to victory, he may lead them to people showing up to find out who Tommy Cutlets is, who Tommy DeVito is, what he's all about. His family's going to be there. His friends going to be there. They're going to watch a football game where if this kid goes out there and throws for 3 touchdowns, the Giants are going to have absolute egg on their face if that happens. Because this kid, if that's the case, should have been starting quarterback last year. But I digress. I don't think that's going to happen. But Giant fans, you do have a little bit of stuff to look forward to. You got a running game. I know Saquon Barkley's over there. Saquon Barkley's killing it over there in Philadelphia. Philadelphia goes to the Super Bowl this year, and win or lose, he is going to be one of the main reasons why they go. But the Giants, they're in a little trouble this year. I mean, some people say he might be tanking. If you're tanking, what are you tanking for? Are you tanking for a quarterback? Are you tanking for the same reason why I think the Jets should tank? But I think the reason the Jets should tank for one specific player comes with a lot. And I don't think the Giants are prepared to handle that. I'm going to go into the Jets in a second. But I got one more thing to say about the New York Giants. Lost all faith in my Jets. Okay? I'm making a point for Giant fans. You have an organization that has respect, history, Super Bowls, MVP caliber football players, men that put on that uniform every Sunday and are proud to be a New York Giant. You will be back, guys. The New York Giants are going to be back to relevancy. The Jets, it's just one folly, circus, bullshit after another. We cannot get out of our own way. Now, right now, the Jets are standing here at 3 wins. Now, I think the only way that the Jets can either go back to relevancy or get to relevancy is to completely switch up the dynamic of this football team. By switching up the dynamic of this football team, I mean just getting rid of everybody and starting from scratch. I mean the guy that even rubs the balls, the ball boy. Get rid of him. I'm sorry, kid. You gotta go. The guy that parks the cars. Everybody. Anybody that has any kind of juju related to the New York Jets has to go. Now, I know that's not possible. I know that you can't fire everybody. And I know it's not everybody's fault. I know it's not the bathroom attendant's fault. I know it's not the parking attendant's fault. I know it's not the concession guy's fault. The Jets need a major, major drastic change. So, as I said last week, why not pull what the Baltimore Colts did? Why not have the owner just sell the team, have all the guys get on a bus, and just break out? Then New Jersey is only left with one team. Steve Cohen picks up the phone, calls up Woody, says, Woody, you coming back? Woody says, no, I'm very happy over here in pick your city that needs a football team. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a franchise and I'm going to bring a football team to New York. Now, I know there's a lot involved in that, but I think if the Jets, as Jet fans, are going to muddle through this fandom that we supposedly have. Now, fandom for me is very important. You can't switch on your team, no matter how shitty they're playing, no matter how bad they do. You can't switch on your team. But the team sneaks out in the middle of the night, like the Baltimore Colts did, and insert Baltimore Ravens. Maybe it could be done. I could just dream about that. But the New York Jets, you got to do something. And by something, I know everybody's talking about Rex Ryan, and everybody's talking about Gruden, and everybody's talking about the hotshot coordinators, but I got a little something different that I want to go over with you guys. And I know it's not going to be a popular opinion or it's going to be a popular point, but what I think has to happen is, what should happen is, why not say to Deion Sanders, that's right, I said Deion Sanders. I happen to love Deion Sanders. I love what he's doing out there in Colorado. They're all flashy, them Sanders kids, family, Deion himself, Coach Prime. Coach Prime is one of the greatest football players that ever lived. And if you watch the way he speaks to these college guys, very motivational. He's very, I'm not your buddy, I'm your coach. And I know it's different from coaching from college to the professional level, but he's been in the league where he's been a top player. He's played the game at a high level, and he has shown himself to be a pretty damn good college coach. Now, remember Eli Manning when he was being drafted, and the the royal guard of the NFL, Archie Manning, said, "My son is going nowhere. My son is going to play, and he's going to be a New York Giant. Make it happen." I think Deion could do the same thing. Listen, Jets have 3 wins. They're going to get a high pick anyway. Jets lose out. Tell Aaron Rodgers to go home. Tell the whole coaching staff of the New York Jets to go home. Maybe Cohen wants to buy the team. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe Woody goes to work for Trump and leaves his dumb brother in charge. Maybe his dumb brother makes a couple of moves while Woody's working for the Jets, and maybe he sells the team to Steve Cohen. I don't know. That's my dream, that Steve Cohen would own the New York Jets. But Chris Johnson is going to be running operations if Woody goes with Trump. Deion Sanders, come to the New York Jets, coach the football team. Be the coach of the New York Jets. You have it in you to say to these young men and these older men that I am the coach. I don't care who you are. You play for me. You are nothing but the number on the back of your jersey. Because if what happened last year happens again, you're all gone. And I'll just replace you with new guys. because this Jets football team is quitting right now. This Jets football team has no guidance. This Jets football team was run and coached by a bunch of guys who are afraid to tell Aaron Rodgers to shut up. Aaron Rodgers, did what he does. He is who he is. You're not benching him. But you know what you can do is you can say to Deion Sanders, Aaron won't be here, but your son will. Coach your son in the NFL? Why not? Bring both Sanders to New York. Have Deion Sanders be the coach. Have Shedeur Sanders, who I think is a very, very good football quarterback. I think he should be the quarterback of the New York Jets going forward next year. I don't know if you guys think that's a good idea, but you want to talk about really switching everything up, really throwing in a monkey wrench into doing something completely different. Listen, I did something this week completely out of my box. And I suggest that everybody out there listening to this podcast right now, do something that's completely out of your box. Because you know why? It felt amazing. So what the Jets should do is do something completely out of your box. Go with Deion Sanders, right? Draft his kid, Shedeur Sanders. Any of the players don't like it, they can go and start a brand new culture and start a culture of Coach Prime in New York. What do you think out there, Jet fans? You like it or not? Because the way I see it, that's the only way that the Jets are going to be fixed is if we do a complete change. Now, look, if the complete change isn't Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders, what do you guys think out there if you're Jet fans? I'm sure, you guys got your ideas. You guys want Rex Ryan? Because if we can't have Deion Sanders, why not Rex Ryan? Rex Ryan will come in here, have a little bit of his old man in him, kick the locker room around a little bit. But all I know is what's going on with the Jets right now has direct effect on what happened back in 1969. And I know I say it all the time. If you heard me say it, or if you haven't heard me say it, Joe Namath sold his soul to the devil at Studio 54 for that Super Bowl win. Tell me I'm wrong. The day Joe Namath passes away is the day the New York Jets are going to get their souls back. And I think the only man that could defeat the devil and come into Jersey and take the soul back of the New York Jets is Deion Sanders. Let's go, Coach Prime. Come and coach my football team, and let's go. So, my Jets did a little bit of Giants, and now they're going to go over the league a little bit. We got some good football games to watch over the weekend. If you're like me, you're going to be locked in on everybody else but the New York Jets because thank God they got a bye this week. Thank God. Even if they had a bye this week, I wouldn't be watching them. Now, I said that last week, but my son tricked me into watching them, and I watched them. Of course, I was pissed off. So this week, the Jets have a bye along with the Falcons, Bills, Bengals, Jags, Saints, and Jets. Now, there's one team right there that's probably going to win the Super Bowl, and they could probably use the rest because, as I mentioned to you before, Josh Allen's probably the toughest quarterback in professional football right now. Watching him run over the Chiefs and score that touchdown last week was amazing. So, Josh Allen, you deserve the break. Pop yourself a beer, chill out, and just watch the rest of the NFL run around in circles. Because there is a couple of teams in this NFL right now that is playing terrible football. And I don't know if it's a one-sided NFL like it's becoming in the NBA. I don't know. Maybe all the talent is going to a couple places. I don't know. But there's a couple of teams right now that are in shambles. You got Carolina. Listen to this division right here. Atlanta, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, and Carolina. Not a bad division, right? You got Atlanta, good new quarterback. You got Saints. They're on a bye this week. Alvin Kamara. No. 6-5, 4-6, 4-7, and 3-7. Somebody with a losing record may win that division. Then you got division over there in the Houston, the Colts, the Titans, and the Jags. 7-4, 5-6, 2-8, and 2-9. This is what's going on in the NFL right now. Okay? Buffalo Bills, to me, look like a team that could probably win the Super Bowl this year. Philadelphia Eagles, they may be there too as well with Saquon Barkley. I don't know. But something has to be done where when you draft a guy like Carolina did. Now, Carolina drafted Bryce Young. Now, listen, I don't care if you're a Monday morning quarterback, a Tuesday morning quarterback, or a Friday morning quarterback. You could say, oh, I thought he might have been a good quarterback. He was good in college. He's not going to be a good NFL. We could say all we want. We don't really know until it actually happens. Okay. You're looking at a guy over there in Chicago that was supposed to be the best thing since you name it, the wheel, sliced bread, whatever you want to say. Kid doesn't not ready for the NFL. Then you have another kid over there in Washington who is absolutely ready for the NFL. These quarterbacks come and go. These quarterbacks stick around. It's all a matter of how these kids are coached. Once they come from college to the NFL, it is definitely all a matter of how they're coached. Jaden Daniels found the right spot. Brock Purdy, who would have thought that he would have gone to San Francisco and be where he is? Mr. Irrelevant. Injured this week. They surrounded him with a great football team. So, got some teams here that, they got some shit to do. They got some players they got to pick up. And you know what, though? For lack of a better term, my team is one of them. Let's go around the NFL right now a little bit. Let's see who's playing where and what's going on and what besides the New York Jets that we're going to be watching this week. My notes here somewhere. What's going on with the games? Now, who's your favorite team out there, guys? I don't know where you guys are listening from. This is like I said, my first time doing this TikTok live thing. So, who's your favorite team out there? What bandwagon could I get on? Hey, listen, I used to love Joe Montana. Maybe I could be a 49ers fan. Although they're a wreck right now. Week 1 saw the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers last night. Now, Cleveland Browns, Jameson Winston, okay? This guy just comes and goes. He's gone and he's back. You know what? He had one of those games last night where it was snowing like crazy. He made the right passes, and they just played a little bit of a tougher brand of football than the Pittsburgh Steelers did last night. 24-10 to a Steeler team that was 8-2. Now, this is the team, Pittsburgh Steelers, that if you look at them on paper, Russell Wilson is now their quarterback. They got a wide receiver that's playing well. But losing to the Cleveland Browns showed a little weakness in them, I guess. Maybe the sense of urgency to attack the tight end. Maybe a sense of urgency to attack the quarterback. Or maybe when it comes out of the pocket. Something is wrong with the Steelers there because losing to the Cleveland Browns last night did not make that look good for the Steelers going into the playoffs because the Ravens are going to chew them up and eat them alive. First game, we got Tennessee and Houston. Now, this game right here is going to see C.J. Stroud go crazy. He has to go crazy, right? I said it a couple weeks ago, and he really hasn't gone crazy yet. But he's playing a Tennessee team that cannot get out of its own way. The Tennessee Titans are a terrible organization. They have a terrible quarterback, and they are not going anywhere fast. So I'm going to have to say that Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud are going to go crazy and kill the Tennessee Titans by about 3 touchdowns this weekend. Now, when I make a 3-touchdown prediction of a team that's going to roll over them and kill them, normally that means Tennessee is going to upset Houston this week. So if you're a betting man or a woman out there, I would bet on Tennessee because I think that Houston's going to kill them. So I would bet on Tennessee. The Vikings and the Bears. Now, this is a division right now that's got teams like the Lions are 9-1, Minnesota's 8-2, Green Bay is 7-3, and the Bears are 4-6. The Bears do not want to get embarrassed in this game. The Bears have been tanking, if you say, for a quarterback. They've been playing terribly. Chicago is a great football city. They have to get back to relevance. They thought they were going to get back to relevance with this new quarterback, but not happening. So what's going to happen this weekend? Our ex-quarterback, Sam Darnold of the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, a team that's 8-2 right now. The Minnesota Vikings, that not a farce 8-2 football team. They're a football team that's a well-oiled machine on offense. Yeah, Sam Darnold had a couple of hiccups 2 weeks ago. But you know what, though? It's okay. It's football. They're 8-2. Now they're playing against the Bears team that needs a win. Bears aren't going to win this game, guys. Sam Darnold is going to go into Chicago and carve up that Chicago defense. The Minnesota Vikings win this game going away. Not going away, by 10 points. Dallas and Washington. Divisional game. The Dallas Cowboys. The Washington Redskins. Divisional game. These two teams hate each other. The difference is one's going north and one's going south. Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, done for the season. Mike McCarthy, probably fired after this season. Jerry Jones, worrying about penis sizes a couple of weeks ago. That organization, don't know what's going on over there. Don't know what's going on with the Sun. And I don't know what's going on with CeeDee Lamb. But Dallas has to get back to relevance. Not that I want them to, but Dallas is a team like Pittsburgh and like the Giants. Eventually, they're going to get back to being in the top spot. Although Dallas hasn't won a Super Bowl in a long time. Back in the 90s, I would say. So Dallas and Washington behind their superstar quarterback and their young team full of piss and vinegar. Washington wins this football game. The Patriots and the Dolphins. The Patriots got something going with Drake May. The Patriots got something going with young, talented football players. The Patriots got something going, unlike the Jets. The Miami Dolphins. Tua, is he going to get hit too hard? Is he going to have another concussion? What's happening over there? Tyreek Hill, are you upset? You want to play? You got a running game. You got a decent defense. Miami Dolphins, what are you going to do? You're still in a division where you can compete. You're still in a division where you can make a playoff. You're still in a division where you can be a wild card. What are you going to do? Are you going to beat this Patriots team? Or are you going to show up soft? Are you going to come in front of a home crowd and show up soft in a divisional game? I think Drake May is going to carve you guys up. I think Dolphin is going to be made to look silly in front of that Miami Dolphins crowd. The Patriots, along with Drake May, are going to beat the Miami Dolphins. The Chiefs and the Panthers. This game right here is set for an upset. This is no, it's not. Carolina Panthers are a terrible team. I don't care if this game is being played in Pat Mahomes' backyard or the owner of the Panthers' backyard. It's in Carolina. The Chiefs are playing them. The Chiefs are 9-1. There's no way the Panthers are going to win this football game. I don't know. Maybe they play them hard because it is football and it's a game of inches. It's a game of yards. It's a game of grown men beating the shit out of each other. And maybe the grown men on the Panthers might beat up the Chiefs' grown men a little bit more. I don't think so. Chiefs are going to win this game by 2 touchdowns at least. The Bucks and the Giants. The Giants with Tommy DeVito are going to surprise the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this weekend. And it's going to be the first game that's going to get Giant fans all excited for Tommy DeVito to win against Tampa Bay Buccaneers and then come back to planet Earth like they did last year and lose the rest of the games. So, yes, they beat the Bucks in surprising fashion this weekend, but Tommy DeVito, future quarterback of the New York Giants, we'll see. The Lions and the Colts. The Lions are a juggernaut. The Lions are running on all cylinders. They got running backs. They got an offensive line. They got a quarterback who I don't know for some reason doesn't get looked at as an MVP caliber quarterback. But Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions are primed to win a Super Bowl this year. That's right. They're primed to win a Super Bowl, and they're primed for Jared Goff to get an MVP Super Bowl trophy. That's right. I said it. If it doesn't happen this year, if it doesn't happen for Detroit this year, that might be another city that's cursed. But they have a game to play in Indianapolis this weekend. A game that's has the Indianapolis Colts coming off a win against the New York Jets. You guys already know how I feel about the New York Jets. The Lions are going to win this football game. The Lions are going to win this football game, not just because they're 9-1, not just because the Colts suck, but the Lions have something to prove. And Dan Campbell is going to shove it up the NFL's ass this year, and he's going to win a Super Bowl this year. The Broncos and the Raiders. Raiders, another team in shambles. The Raiders have an angry Max Crosby. The Raiders have an angry Max Crosby that might want to kill Bo Nix this weekend. But it's not going to happen. All they got to do is stop him, and Bo Nix is going to carve that Raiders defense up. The Denver Broncos will go to 7-3 this weekend by beating the Raiders. Arizona and the Seattle Seahawks. This is a game, if you're either one of these fans, should be marked on your schedule. This is going to be Kyler Murray against Geno Smith, another ex-Jet who's playing surprisingly well. Not really surprising. A lot of quarterbacks that have left the New York Jets have gone on to do great things. So this game right here, Kyler Murray against Geno Smith. Geno Smith, if anybody cares, but is wondering, has thrown the most passes in the NFL. He hasn't completed the most, but he's thrown for the most. He's 4th in yards, and he's playing with an offense that sometimes they play good, sometimes they don't. But all I know is Seattle and Geno Smith are throwing the football. Arizona, Seattle. Kyler Murray goes into Seattle with the 12th man and beats the Seattle Seahawks and shows that Kyler Murray is back. Kyler Murray shows that he's not a center fielder. Kyler Murray shows that he's a quarterback in the NFL, and he's playing on a professional level, and he's going to beat the Seattle Seahawks and win that division this year and maybe make a playoff run. We'll see, Arizona. I'll be rooting for you. The Jets aren't going to be there. The Niners and the Packers. The Niners are a mess. Purdy out. Bosa out. Debo complaining. No wide receiver. McCaffrey may get hurt, may not. Made of glass? I don't know. 49ers are going to lose this football game, guys, because the Packers need to keep winning, because they need to keep up with their division, and they need to keep up with Minnesota and Detroit. So the Packers are going to come in their home field at Lambeau Field. I don't know what the weather, it might be snowing, might not. I don't know if it's cold up there, but all I know is it snowed in Pittsburgh last night. The Niners are going to get trounced by the Packers in a surprising, not surprising upset, but a surprising 2-touchdown victory over the 49ers. Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams. Philadelphia Eagles have become the Saquon Barkley show. Jalen Hurts, not really a good quarterback. Jalen Hurts might be a little bit of a baby, but they do have a football team that may make the playoffs, and they do have a football team that could possibly contend for a Super Bowl and possibly get into the playoffs and make some noise because of Saquon Barkley. The Rams, not so much. The Rams got a young coach that might be on his way out if they don't do nothing this year. But the Philadelphia Eagles are going to keep going, and they're going to improve to 9-2 by beating the Rams. Saquon Barkley, do I say 2 touchdowns? The Ravens and the Chargers. This is a very, very important game for both teams. Hugely important game for the Chargers to show relevance, and a hugely important game for the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens lost last week. The Baltimore Ravens need to come back and put a win on the board. They need to show the Pittsburgh Steelers that the Steelers are a farce football team. In the immortal words of Aiden Murphy, they're a farce football team. All right? Now, saying that, they're going to play a San Diego Chargers team that has a young offensive line, a veteran quarterback in Justin Herbert, decent running game, okay defense, and a great coach. A great coach that is in his first year, a great coach that's passionate about football, and a great coach that is going to do something in the future, or maybe this year, who knows. It is his first year. Pretty big if he does make it to the playoffs. But he's got the quarterback, got the talent, and he's got the guns to stay at home and stick with the Baltimore Ravens. But Lamar Jackson is going to be way too much for that San Diego, for that LA defense. I think that the Baltimore Ravens go out to LA and they win in big fashion over the Chargers. All right, so that's going around the NFL. We did a little baseball, and wow, I got a little I got some people tuning in, watching the live show. Very nice, guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to want to do some basketball. I got a guy out there, listen, Dylan, right now. He's going to want to do some basketball, but all he wants to talk about is LeBron James. Anybody knows this show? I can't stand LeBron James. So thank you for joining me. And as always, keep talking 365 at YouTube is our YouTube channel. And I'm going to keep using this TikTok channel too, because this TikTok live thing seems pretty damn good. I like that. I'm going to be doing a lot of TikTok live stuff, guys. So if you like the channel, you like what you see, please hit that follow button. Please like the videos, and head on over to Keep Talking 365 at YouTube. Look for the Murf and Edubbs show. We also do a lot of other stuff over there. You know, when Edubbs isn't here, I do a lot of other stuff. I like to talk about music. I like to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. So head on over there to Keep Talking 365 at YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe, and come check us out. Edubbs will be back probably over the weekend, and Soto will be a Met by then. So thanks for hanging out with me for a little while, and like always, take it easy. I am just going to end this recording right now, and I'm